Hey everybody, Davies Tallow coming at you with another Rocky Mountain Rankings. And with this one, we're going to be ranking Jethro Tull. The great Jethro Tull, who's got actually 23 albums, but I'm going to do 22, and that's going to include the new one, the Zealot Gene, which came out a week ago, this past Friday. And the more I listen to that album, the Zealot Gene, the more it grows on me. I mean, some people say, it's not really Jethro Tull, it's Ian Anderson just doing another solo album, but using the Tull name. Whatever. It's Jethro Tull. So, and yeah, the cover could have been better. Sorry, Ian, but seeing your mug on the front cover just doesn't work too well. But other than that, it's a great album. I mean, when I first heard it, I'm like, I gotta listen to it again. So I did it a second time. In fact, I did a review of it that very night after I listened to it about 3 times, and I just had to do a review on it. I mean, it just gets better and better. It's like a fine wine. The more edges, the better it gets. So, anyway, I'm going to include that. I'm not going to include the Christmas album. I don't have it. I haven't heard it. Christmas albums, I just turned me off. So, I'm not going to include that. So I'm just going to do 22 albums, and I'm going to probably do a 2-parter. The reason being, it's going to take a while to do all 22 albums, and so we'll just have to, and the more time I have on, the longer this takes, the longer it takes to upload a video. I mean, going just over an hour takes about an hour and a half or longer to upload. And once it uploads, it's gonna do the checks and do the high definition crap, and that takes so probably about 4 hours later it's done. So I know there's probably people out there watching this going, well, Davies, you're doing it the wrong way. Well, if there's another way to do it, I'd like to hear it. But so if there's another way, leave it down in the comments and tell me. But this is the way I do it. Some people, do go live, and that's so. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. So this will probably, depending on how long it takes, this will probably end up being a 2-parter. So we'll see how it goes. So anyway, Jethro Tull, one of my all-time favorite bands. I'm gonna have to do a ranking of my top. I don't think I've done one. I'll have to check, but I don't think I've done my top favorite bands. I'll have to do that. Yeah. So, but anyway, let's be for another time. Jethro Tull, who was mispronounced Jethro Tull, right after they settled on that name. Ian Anderson said that he thinks it was an attempt by the record company not to pay them royalties. But I think they did get their royalties paid, so who knows? Only Ian and the rest of the band knows. Anyway, they were basically came about in 1967, went through various names. John Evans Band, John Evans Smash, I think there's a bunch of other names. Let's see here if I can find it. Navy Blue, Ian Anderson's Bag of Nails. Imagine that today. Yeah, guess what, guys? The new album by Ian Anderson's Bag of Nails is out. Just call them the Bag of Nails. Candy Colored Rain. Here's the new Candy Colored Rain albums out. Yeah. And for those who don't know, Jethro Tull was an 18th century agriculturalist. Somebody, a booking agent, was, who had a history of enthusiasm, said, "Hey, use this name right here." So, basically stuck with it. But I like the one where he talks about Jethro Tull. The new Jethro Tull album's out. Call it Toe Fungus. The next album, Toe Jam. The third album, Toenail. So, anyway, let's get on with this here. Rich history, a lot of different band members, a lot of different guest musicians. Right now, the current lineup is Ian Anderson on vocals, flute, acoustic, and electric guitar, and so on. David Goodyear on bass. John O'Hara keyboards, accordion. I mentioned this on my review of the Zella Gene. I don't think I've ever heard accordion on any other Tull album except the Zella Gene. So I could be wrong. Maybe I missing something. Anyway, Scott Hammond on drums. Maybe you should start calling him Scott Hammond after in honor of Jeffrey Hammond. And Joe Parrish on electric acoustic guitar. And I don't think he played on. I think Florian Pie played. Yeah, Florian played did the guitar on the albums. I don't know why he left, but anyway, he was also part of Ian's solo band. So anyway, 22 albums, or 23 albums if you cancel the Christmas album, but like I said, we're not going to do that. So let's get this ball rolling here. And for those of you who don't know how this works, I start with my least favorite and work all the way up to my favorite. Just because it's my least favorite doesn't mean I hate the album. I just don't reach for it as much, or I just don't particularly care for it. And the thing about albums and bands and stuff, things can change down the road. Like what I consider number one right now could end up going all the way back to the end of the line, and that album could move up. I mean, it's all how it hits you, how it sounds to you. I mean, there's some albums like, the number one album I won't mention yet, or right now, but the number one album at one time, if I'd done this say 10, 15 years ago, would have probably been my least favorite. But over the past few years, I've listened to more and more, and it's absolutely wonderful album. So that's how it goes with music. What hits you great today could be blah tomorrow, and vice versa. So anyway, we're going to start with number 22. Number 22. Where are you? Okay. Released July 1973 in both the UK and the United States. It's an album that, when I first heard it, to tell you the truth, I really didn't like it. I've listened to it more over the years, and it sounds okay, but it's one of those albums I have to be in a certain mood to listen to. Without further ado, That album is Passion Play. Not much to see inside, just the lyrics. Back. Basically, just one long song with a interruption in the middle. It's called Story of the Hare Who Lost His Spectacles. And I think it's Jeffrey Hammond doing the reading. Let's see here. It says, good grief. What the heck is that? That's a DVD. Okay. Good grief. 2 DVD disc set. Chateau, whatever, sessions. Yeah. Jeffrey Hammond does the spoken word on the story of the hare who's lost his spectacles. Kind of a interesting little ditty, but more of a story than music. D. Palmer, who was David Palmer at the time of the recording, does the orchestration. He would later on become part of the band. Ian Anderson, Martin Bear, John Evan, Jeffrey Hammond, Barrymore Barlow, I'll get it out there, on drums, basically the classic lineup, Tull, one that lasted, I think probably the longest. But the album, to me, is just, it's drab. There's nothing interesting on it. Like I said, I have to be in a certain mood to listen to this, but it's just me. I know a lot of people revere this album, but what can I say? And like I said, maybe someday I'll listen to it and say, hey, this is actually, I like this. So, who knows? But anyway, number 22, A Passion Play. Moving right along. Okay. Another album that a lot of people revere, but I don't know. I think it could have been honed down a little bit. I think it's way overblown, like Passion Play. You Tullsters out there, you probably know what I'm going to be talking about here, but released March 1972. Basically a continuous piece, very period concept album. Of course, I'm talking about Thick as a Brick. Made to be like a newspaper article or newspaper, the St. Cleve Chronicle. Stories are here. I like this one down here. Head injury. 50-year-old Sarah Pickles of the High Street, St. Cleve, cut her head when she tripped over while walking in the High Street, St. Cleve. Cut her head when she tripped over. So, test your wits. Young Derek usually gets out of school every day at 4 o'clock, and his mother is waiting in the car to pick him up. I won't go into that, I won't bore you. But there's all kinds of little articles in here, like roller skate champion passes through, Little Milton School girl pregnancy row. Ooh. Okay, that was that girl right here. So anyway, Jethro Tull does do part of Thick as a Brick in their live set generally, not all the time, but generally. Ian Anderson did a sequel to this about little Milton growing up, Gerald Bostock, older, which is kind of interesting, but again, I have to be in a certain mood to listen to this. But every Tull fan should have it, whether you revere it or not. A lot of people revere this. I think Pete Pardo is one of his favorites, not the favorite of his. So anyway, that's my number 21, Thick as a Brick. There we go, trying to snap it, scissored off again. All right. Okay, number 20. Without further ado, we'll get right to this one. Released in 1968. Didn't say what month. Interesting. They lost the month. Yeah. Well, anyway, it was recorded for a cost of £1,200. Thinking that's, well, in current dollars. So I don't know what the dollar change back then was. 1,200 pounds in current dollars would be about 1,300, I believe. 1,300 and a half, maybe. So anyway, their debut album. This was. The debut lineup consisting of course, Mr. Ian Anderson, Glenn Cornick, Mick Abrahams, Clive Bunker. Mick Abrahams wouldn't last very long. He was more of a bluesy. He loved the blues more, and he wanted the Jethro Tull to be a blues band. And Ian Anderson wanted to spread out to basic rock and roll. So, which I'm glad they did. Though I do like blues when it's well done and it's catchy. But so anyway, the original lineup, this debut lineup, I should say, because I think John Evans was part of the band before they put this out. Catchy. A lot of, let's see here. Okay, here we go. My Sunday Feeling, bluesy. Someday the Sun Won't Shine for You, Beggar's Farm, Move On Alone, Serenade to Cuckoo, Dharma for One, It's Breaking Me Up, Cat Squirrel, instrumental. A song for Jeffrey Hammond, and Round ends with Round. Another album that I don't reach for too often, but when I do, I enjoy it. It's just another album I have to be in a certain mood for. And like I said, it's bluesy. It's more blues than solid rock based. So anyway. So a good album. This was a very good album. Okay. Okay, we're going to jump many years ahead into the early 90s. Now, I went and seen them on this tour. It was a good tour. They didn't, if I remember correctly, they did not do anything from the album that I recall, which kind of surprised me. But generally, when you go on a tour, they play a few, if not a good load of the songs off their new album. And if I remember correctly, I might be wrong, but I don't recall them doing any song off this album. They did a lot of the old stuff. Released 1991. It was the first album to feature keyboardist Andrew Giddings. And it also continues the hard rock and blues sound of the previous two albums. So I'm talking about Catfish Rising. I had a shirt. I still think I have that shirt with that logo and picture on it. There's the back. You know, excellent logo picture. I love it. Don't think, you know, there's nothing really inside. This is back before they started putting more info and pictures and stuff. You know, you had to wait for the remastered editions to come out. I bought this when it first came out, so this is an original release. Not any huge standouts on this. It starts with This Is Not Love, which is okay. Occasional Demons, I like that one. Rocks in the Road, okay. Thinking Around Corners, Still Loving You Tonight. Doctor to My Disease, I like that one. Like a Tall Thin Girl, kind of interesting. Sparrow on the Schoolyard Walls, good one. Roll Your Own, okay. Gold Tip Boots, Black Jacket and Tie. And they got it's a bonus 12-inch side 1. When Jesus Came to Play, Sleeping with the Dog. White Innocence. Of course, then they got, so that's the album version, CD version, you know, all kinds of versions. Get it out there. Ian Anderson, Martin Barr, David Pegg on bass, Don Perry on drums. We had additional personnel: Andrew Giddings, Foss Patterson, John Budrick, Matt Pegg did bass on a couple or 3 tracks actually. Scott Hunter drums. It's not a bad album, but it's not really good, but it's more interesting than the previous 2 or 3 I did, you know. So anyway, like I said, I don't recall them doing any of the songs off this album during the concert. So, but I might be wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. But it was still a good concert. I loved it. I believe Don Airy did keyboards on that tour. Yeah, he did. I think. No, I believe it was this one. Yeah. Seen too many concerts. Of course, a lot of people say you haven't seen enough concerts. I know there's a lot of people out there that have seen a lot more concerts than I have. So anyway, number 19, Catfish Rising. All right. Okay, still staying more in the late 80s, 90s, or early 90s. This one, I believe I went and seen him in concert on this tour. This might be the one that Don Airy was done. I might be wrong. Let's see. What did it say? One of the songs off this was a big hit. Let's see. Okay. Released in 1989. Doesn't give the month. I wonder why it doesn't give the month. Oh. Anyway, had hit with Kissing Willie, my good friend Willie. Talk about Rock Island. Another album a lot of people revere, and it's good. It's got some good tunage on here. Or it starts out with Kissing Willie, Rattlesnake Trail, I love that one. Ears of Tin, Undressed to Kill's okay. Rock Island, it's alright. Heavy Water, another Christmas song. That's all we need is another Christmas song. I think Ian's in love with Christmas. Don't get me wrong, I like Christmas time, but just hate the hustle and bustle. Christmas was funner when you were a kid, right? Whalers Dues, okay, Big Riff and Mando, Strange Avenues, all right. Just not another one of my, just not a favorite of mine, though I do listen to from time to time. And you know, like I said, I like the Kissing Willie, Rattlesnake Trail. Not much to see in here, I don't think. They weren't into, the band at this time wasn't into taking pictures. Oh, there's one. Ian and the boys. They weren't big into that. But still, you know, a decent album. Any Tull fan should have it. Any Tull fan should have all these albums, in fact. So, but just not one of my favorites. So anyway, number 18, Rock Island. Okay. This album took a lot of people by surprise. This album also shocked a lot of people. I actually enjoyed this album before it was, other than, you know, more than the ones preceding it. You know, of course, that's why it's higher than the album. You know, duh, right? But a lot of people hate this album. They absolutely loathe it. They don't know why Jethro Tull did this album. They don't understand it one bit. Basically, it's I think Ian and the boys were just trying different things. You know, and you have to try different from time to time, otherwise you stagnate and eventually you fade away. You know, people get bored with you. And from what I remember hearing at the time of this release, Ian had put these songs out to the fans over in Great Britain and let them choose what to put on the album. I might be wrong on that, but I remember reading something to that effect, that it was voted on by the fans over in Great Britain, and this is what they wanted, which I can see at the time. This kind of music, this style of music, was taking hold. Released in 1984. The song subject matter is heavily influenced by band leaders Ian Anderson's love of espionage fiction. And it's, when you listen to the album, it's got a thick layer of that in there. course, I'm talking about Under Wraps. And she's under wraps, all right, doesn't she? There's the back cover. It's the logo right there. So I'm talking about this right here. You know, not a great album, but it interesting. I love some of the songs on here. I said it was controversial among fans of the band due to the electronic synthesizer based sound, particularly use of electronic drums. David Pegg has been quoted as saying that the tracks cut from the sessions for Broadsword and Beast would have made a better album. While Martin Bear is referred to it as one of his personal favorite Tull albums. So see, it's all in the perception of the individual. What some people loathe, other people like. A lot of times we can't think, and I'm included in this, how can you like that? But I do like this to an extent. Excuse me. It starts with Lap of Luxury. Kind of generic sounding to me, but still enjoyable. Under Wraps, number one, good. I like that. European Legacy is good. Later, the same evening, Saboteur. I like that. Radio Free Moscow is good. Nobody's Car is alright. Heat, Under Wraps, 2, Paparazzi, and Apogee. Apogee? So it's definitely different. But like I said, if I remember correctly, they put, let's see if it says here. Like earlier albums were Ian and so where Anderson was a songwriter under Wraps with the first Tull album, since this was where the majority of the songs were co-written between all members of the band. Oh, John and primary Peter John Baptiste. Okay, yeah. Okay, Nobody's Car was co-written by Anderson, Martin, Bear, and Matisse. So is Paparazzi. Okay. Did not see that. Interesting. So you still can discover things that you didn't see previously. Maybe I did see, I just didn't relate. Okay, but anyway. Like I said, decent album. Could have been better, but I still enjoy it. So, a lot of people, like I say, don't just load this album. They put this on their last. And I'm sure a lot of Tull fans are going to be saying, Davies, what are you doing? That album is horrible. But no, not to me. Sorry. Not to me. So, but I'll keep that under wraps. Yeah. Okay, we'll wrap it right along here. Okay. This album, ladies and gentlemen, was initially written and recorded with the intention of being frontman Ian Anderson's solo album, debut solo album. Hence the title, the album's title, the master tape, was marked A for Anderson during recording. So that's why it's called A for Anderson. Maybe they should rename it, called Mr. Anderson, We Missed You. Yes, we did. So anyway, however, the album was eventually released as a Tull album after pressure from Chrysalis Records. Anderson has since stated that he regrets allowing the album to be released as a Jethro Tull, under the Jethro Tull name. To me, yeah, maybe. But still, all in all, it's a good album. You know, first, like I said, A is the album number 16. Always liked that cover. I mean, it's interesting. A very interesting cover. A lot of times the band cover, you don't want the band on the cover, but in this instance it works. I mean, they're actually doing something instead of going, here we are, the band are going. Giving that stare. Of course, that could have been a great cover as well. But yeah, it was originally meant to be a Jethro Tull or an Ian Anderson debut album or solo album. It was released August 29th, 1980. Maybe it'd have been better as an Ian Anderson solo album, but with Ian being basically Jethro Tull, I mean, the only person in the entire band to be consistent there, outside of Martin Bear. Crossfire is good. Flyingdale Flyers, okay. Working Man, or Working John, Working Joe is good. Black Sunday is good. Protect and Survive, Batteries Not Included, Uniform. 4WD, 4-wheel drive, low ratio, like that one. The Pine Martin's Jig, instrumental is good. And further on this one you got Ian Anderson, Martin Bear, David Pegg, Mark Craney, and Eddie Jobson. But yeah, good album. Not top tier, but still a good one. So, okay. Number 16, A for Anderson. Mr. Anderson, we missed you. Okay, moving right along. Okay, now when this album came out, this next one, number 15, it didn't do anything for me at the time. When I listened to it, it came out as bland. But over the years, it's kind of done better. I guess I should listen to it more, but I don't as much as the others, come after. Anyway, released September 1995. I didn't go see him on this tour. But anyway, I'm talking about Roots to Branches. Another good album cover. Another great album cover, let's put it that way. And that's one of the things of Jethro Tull. You could rely on good fantastic album covers. Again, no band picks. Of course, I think Ian was, and the others were at the point where, well, who wants to see our ugly mugs other than when we're touring? So, you didn't have, I don't think, any hits played on the radio, any songs played on the radio off this. Roots of Branches is okay. Rare and Precious Chains, alright. Out of the Noise, Free Will, Valley, Dangerous Veils, good. Inside Myself, alright. Wounded, Old, and Treacherous, good one. Last Forever. Stuck in the August Rain, Another Harry's Bar. Like I said, when I first heard it didn't really do anything for me, but it has grown on me. Ian Anderson, Martin Bear, David Pegg, Andrew Giddings, and Don Perry. Steve Bailey does bass drum or bass guitar. Good solid Tull album. You know, second to last one with Martin Bear. No, I think the third to last. I think he was on the Christmas album. I can't remember. So anyway, Roost of Branches, number 15. Now this next album, I know certain people who loathe this album. I don't loathe this album. It's not really my top tier, but I do enjoy this album a little bit more than Roots to Branches. It's, well, you got what I call a peppy tang to it. Or at least 1999, the end of the century. On Crestless Group's late 1990s Heritage record label. Of course, I'm talking about jtull.com. Like I said, a lot of people don't care for this album. They don't like it. I really think it's got a peppy sound to it. When I listen to it, it reminds me, for some reason, of the Bahamas. Maybe it's because one of the songs, Wild Mango Flesh. That was actually written by Martin Bear and Anderson. One of the rare occasions that Anderson let somebody else do the writing. Andrew Giddings also does an instrumental on here. Starts it with a spiral. .com. Love that. I just love that song. AWOL, it's a good one. Nothing at all. By Andrew Giddings. Wicked Windows. Hunt by Numbers, love that one. Let's go out and hunt by numbers. Or it's Hot Mango Flesh. Like that one. Not a strong song, but it's just interesting. I just love it. El Nino's a good one. Black Mamba. Mango Surprise. Quick little 1 minute 14-second song. Bends Like a Willow's a good one. Far Lassos, love that. Dog-eared Years, good one. And Gift of Roses ends it out perfect. Ian Madison, Martin Bear, Jonathan Noyce on bass. David Pegg's gone on this one. Andrew Giddings, keyboards, and Don Perry, of course, drums. Got a guest singer on here. I can't. Nayum Kihart. Apologies if I'm murdering that. These names that are spelt differently, I sometimes I don't get. So anyway, this album, I'm sorry, but is enjoyable. Some people don't like it, some people loathe it, but I don't. I just love it. So anyway, jtull.com. I don't know if I've ever tried doing that, going to jtull.com. See what happens. I would advise against it though. You never know what you're going to get, maybe a virus. So anyway, okay, that was number 14. On to number 13. Okay, we're going back to earlier, way earlier, Jethro Tull. This album is enjoyable, but I just, as of late, I haven't reached for as much as others. Let's see, released 1969. It was the first Tull album that featured Martin Barre, who would go on to become the band's second longest member outside of Ian Anderson, until its Tull's initial disillusionment in 2012. Of course, I'm talking about Stand Up. Not much to see inside. Is it a good album? Of course, Tull at this point is still trying to find their sound. Where they basically were all over the place with the first album. This one, they're nailing it better. They're getting the sound down. A New Day Yesterday, early example of that. Jeffrey Goes to Lancaster Square is good. Maury, instrumental. Back to the Family is good. Looking in the Sun, good. Nothing is Easy. Fat Man, love it. We Used to Know is alright. Reason for Waiting, for 1,000 Mothers. You know, there's here and there you can hear what would become the Tull sound, but you can still, on a lot of the other tracks, they're still feeling their way. Like Back to the Family. That could have been on the first album. Nothing is Easy, you know. Fat Man, you know, love that. That sound is just, I guess it's what is that guitar they use? Scissor. Can't remember what it's called. Let's see. Okay. Russians, I guess that's how you pronounce it. It's a Russian string instrument. That's what I think they were using on Fat Man. But still, you know, enjoyable album. A must for Tull fans. Of course, you know, on there we had the ever evolving lineup: Ian Anderson, Martin Barre, Glenn Cornick, and Clive Bunker. Glenn Cornick and Clive Bunker wouldn't be around much longer, unfortunately. So, number 13, Stand Up. Okay. Moving right along. Now this album, I put this down as a transitional album. God, I have a hard time talking here. A lot of people enjoy it. A lot of people don't, because it's like I said, it's like they're going from one era to another, and they're trying to find their way. Well, and it's around this time period that Ian Anderson was going through marital problems. What band didn't have something like that happen to one of their members? You know, at one time or another. You know, it happened to Phil Collins during this time of his later years with Genesis. But anyway, released October 1974. How about War Child? Back album cover. But yeah, it's, they go from this. This was released, let's see, a year and a half after Passion Play. The turmoil over the criticism of the previous albums surrounded the production of War Child, which obligated the band to do press conferences and explain their plans for the future. Yeah, it's you're going from one extreme to another with this album. But I love it. It's not as strong as the one that, to me, is not as strong as the ones that are yet to come. But War Child's good. Queen Country's all right. Ladies, Backdoor Angels, Sea Lion. And you got Skating Away on the Thin Ice of New Days, Concert Staple, Bungle in the Jungle, love it. Only Solitaire, The Third Hurrah, and Two Fingers. A good solid album, but like I said, they're feeling their way. You got the classic lineup: Dean Anderson, Martin Barre, John Evans, Jeffrey Hammond, and Barry Barlow. But with the sound going from Passion Play to War Child is just a big extreme of sound and stuff, and this would lead into a couple of later albums. They would stay with this kind of sound for, I think, about 3 albums, and then change up again. So, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. But definitely a good album. Band that's still trying to find its way from these long album pieces, whole album pieces, to back to shorter pieces, so shorter concept and stuff. So, but anyway, War Child, number 12. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're halfway through. We're halfway through this, but I think I'm going to cut this part 1 here off right here with that one, and we'll continue this on part 2 of Jethro Tull. So anyway, review of what we've already done is, with number 12, War Child, number 13, Stand Up, number 14, find it here, jtull.com, number 16, Roots to Branches, or no, number 15, Roots to Branches, I'm sorry, number 16, A, number 17, Under Wraps, number 18, Rock Island, number 19, Catfish Rising, number 20, This Was, 21, Thick as a Brick, and number 22, Passion Play. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. That's it for part 1. We'll get to part 2 probably tomorrow. This will be going out on Monday. I'll probably have part 2 out on Tuesday. So we'll see you then.